Alright guys, this is my 2008 Infiniti G35 and I've had a pretty interesting issue with it yesterday. Basically it would not start. So I did have kind of a problem before with it where like if I would drive it and then turn it off and then like within 15-20 minutes start it back up, it would have a hard time starting, like the starter was struggling or whatever. But the funny part is it only happened when it would be hot or the car would be warmed up. So whenever the car was cold, like it would sit or overnight, it would crank very good every time, or very you couldn't really tell that anything's wrong. So only when it would be warmed up, which is kind of a weird situation. But in any case, we were stranded on a parking lot. I would try to start it by pushing the start button, but every time I'd push it, it would just click, 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 and it wouldn't start. So, and the clicking was coming from under here, and you can hear it really loud. So I'm guessing the starter is down there. So this is the G35, but this is basically the G37 version of it, which the starters are all down on the left side here on the bottom, which are extremely hard to get to. So the good part of the story is that I had this idea of the wrench from the back, and I took the end of it and I beat it into the starter under there. And as I was beating it, I had my wife push the start button, and eventually as I was beating it, I noticed that it was starting to kind of like kick in. And so eventually it kicked in and started the car, which is the crazy part because we were like sitting there for a while trying to start it. So we'll be working on it right there. So the idea here is to change the starter because I'm pretty sure that's what's wrong with it. So I'm just kind of curious here the next day. I'm going to see if I can crank it. So let's go inside of here. Let's push the start button, see what happens. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that, guys. But it tried to turn, it was like, and died. So I think the starter is shut. So I'm pretty sure it's the starter because I know the battery of this car is good. It's less than a year old or about a year old. So it's definitely not the battery, and the battery's never been an issue, seems like. It's definitely the starter. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and jack the car up and stuff and take this wheel off, and we'll see what we can see under there, see if we can find the starter. Alright guys, so we got the tire off here, wheel and tire, and I put it under the car, and I put some cardboard under there and I lowered the jack a bit so it kind of sits on the wheel. Alright, so it might be a good idea to turn this all the way to the right so it kind of gets out of the way, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so we got a pretty good amount of room here now to, stick our head in there and stuff, so the car should be very stable now, and we can go in there and check out what we're working with. Alright guys, so it looks like the starter is, if I can film this and show you, it's right here. So you can see if you can see. It's right behind that steering. Alright guys, so after looking at it for a little bit here, I realized that maybe, because I know a lot of people take off, or people say that you got to take off this thing here. The crazy part is there's not much information about how to take the starter out. So hopefully this video will be useful. But first, what we're going to try to do before we try to take apart all the steering column and stuff, I'm going to see if we can loosen the starter, and then I don't know if you guys can see on camera, but behind this mount here, there might be room for it to just slide all the way out to the front and then drop down through here, right in there basically. So we're going to try that first because that would be the most simplest, meaning like the most way that everyone can do it. Because once you start taking off the steering wheel linkages and stuff, you could throw off the alignment of the wheel with the rack and everything. So that might become more trouble than everyone needs. So we're going to try to do that. So it looks like there's two connections that we need to take off. One of them is right here. It's like a very thick wire, and there's looks to be like a 10mm bolt right there, if you guys can see, hopefully, or a nut. And then you got a plug right there, which you can get from this side underneath pretty easily. So, and then we'll get to the bolts, which there should be 2 bolts. Alright guys, so one of the most important things that I forgot to mention here, obviously, is you need to disconnect your positive terminal or your negative. It doesn't really matter, whatever is easier to get to. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the negative here. So just remember, once you disconnect that, you can't get back in your trunk unless you connect the back. But the reason we're doing this is because the power cable that's going to the starter, it might arc or whatever. We just don't want any trouble from any electrical reasons. So we're just gonna do that. And yeah, now we can try to get those wires off. All right, so that nut over there is not a 10, it's a 12 millimeter. So I just broke it loose. Now it should just come out by hand. And here it is. So it's out. So now we should be able to just take this off. There we go. So and there's the power cable to the starter, the big one. Alright guys, so after you get this off, the next thing we gotta do is get this plug off right here. Right here, you just push on this guy and it unclips it. And it just comes out. And there we go. There's a bolt right there. And another bolt appears to be right here. So two bolts to take off, here and here. And that should release the starter, I'm guessing. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get that off. Alright, let's see. I can break this thing. There we go. Yeah, it's a little tough. You need a little, you know, it's not super hard though. It just requires a little bit of muscle power. So we broke that loose, so now we need to break this one loose. Appears to be maybe in my way. Let me see, maybe not. Well, maybe it's not. Alright, let's go ahead and break this one. There we go. So I didn't even have to use an extension for that, for leverage. But so yeah, after this, it should just go pretty easily. As you can see, guys, I can just take it off with my hand. All right, looks like the bolt's pretty long, obviously. And that's it. There it is. As simple as that. Now I just got to get that one off. I think it's still a little tight. And there's the second bolt. So they appear to be the same size, so it don't really matter which one goes where. All right, guys, so the starter is loose now. So if I touch it, it should move around. Guys, hopefully you can see that, but the starter is completely out right there. So it just kind of slid out of that hole right there where the bolts were from the housing. And so now we're gonna try to move it out of there to the front somehow. So I'm just gonna feed it through there and see if I can get it to the front like we talked about earlier. All right, guys, so I'm not sure if it can go through there. It went pretty deep. If I can show you here. There it is all the way over there. So it's gone pretty deep in there, but I can't see anything. So I think what I need to do is I need to take the shroud off here. But here's the update so far. I got the shroud here. It's kind of in the way. I hope I can do this while filming. But if you can see this, guys, the starter's right here. It's actually coming out, and I'm pretty sure it's going to come out. So basically, it came out of there from that hole. It went out on top here. So now it's wanting to come out through here. So I'm pretty sure it's going to fit between this hose and this hose here. So you might have to wiggle it out, but that's the plan here next. Anyways, now we're going to just try to feed it out of there. There's like all these hoses in the way, but it looks like it might be coming out here, guys. Which is amazing because, oh yeah, there it goes. Look at that. Oh wow, it's out. Wow, that is crazy. I can't believe it came out. Wow. So look at that, guys. It actually came out the front here. So I don't know if I can stick the camera in there, but it went out of here, through here, and just out through that hole right there. So you're going to have to like twist it around, obviously, and back and forth, but it does come out. Now there is something I did have to take off. It's like a little bracket. And I think it went up right here somewhere. Let's see. Somewhere right here, I think. Yeah, right there. That I had to unscrew. So it's just a 10 millimeter. It goes in like this. Up there. So you just unscrew it. It drops down. I think that was in the way. So went ahead and took that out. Yeah, and it fed through the water hose here. And this transmission lines looks like to the transmission. So pretty awesome that it came out. So yeah, this appears to be the original starter. It says right there Hitachi on it. Let me grab a rack here. Yep, that is the original starter. So yeah, like eventually it just kind of fed out, you know, going back and forth like this. So you're gonna have to twist it like every direction to feed it out, but it does feed out. I am so happy that it came out the front because I did not have to take out the steering linkages here and all that stuff. So it's gonna be a little bit of fun putting the new one in from the bottom there and feeding it through, but you know, if we got this one out, we should be able to get the new one in technically. So it is a little bit greasy in there, as you can see my hands. So I have a new starter coming tomorrow, so I wanted to go ahead and take this one out and make sure I could do it. Alright guys, so it's the next day and we have the package here. So let's crack it open and see what we got in there. Hopefully it's the same thing as what we have here. So it looks like it's in a box. Alright, so the company's called TYC, brand new inside out. Okay, so it's a brand new starter. It's not one of those remat starters. Here's some kind of numbers and stuff. Oh, Amazon sticker. TYC. Hopefully it's a good starter. Alright, paperwork, and here it is. Wow, it looks so nice. It appears to be the same thing. Alright, let's lay it next to this one. Yep, it sure looks like the same thing exactly. So yeah, it's a replica exactly of the original. Still have that huge gear right here. Alright guys, so we're going to try to squeeze in the starter right in here, between the holes and these lines, and then go down into the frame there. You can see that just like that, with this thing being that way, because that's the way it came out. So naturally we want to put it in how it came out. So it's squeezing in there slowly but surely. Finally squeezed it in through there. You kind of have to stick your head in it to see what you're doing. So the second part is going from there down through that hole over there. So you just kind of feed it through. Just kind of play with it. So once you get it in there, you should be fine. It's just the hardest part is to get it through these lines here. These transmission fluid lines are the ones that kind of messing us up, but it's all right. We're gonna get it. All right, guys. So we went from here through there, and now we're in the hole, in the main hole. So it's a little bit hard to feed it through that AC pump right there. So you kind of have to like wiggle it around back and forth. But it goes in. It definitely goes in. It's just a tight fit. So now we just got to push the starter all the way back. So yeah, now you can see it right there. So it's really close to the destination. So yeah, guys, it's actually working out. Alright guys, so before I want to put everything back together, I want to make sure that the car will start. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the battery here. So we should be good to go. Alright guys, let's see if this thing will start. Kind of curious. I hope it will. 3, 2, 1. Oh man, it started so good, guys. The starter just spun real quick. So definitely it was the starter problem, guys. Without a doubt, it was definitely the starter. So I'm gonna let the car run for a little bit since I just cranked it and it's cold. And plus the battery was disconnected, so it's kind of resetting all of its O2 sensors and all that stuff. So I'm gonna let it run a little bit and then I'm gonna turn it off and I'm gonna put all this back. And we should be good to go. Alright guys, so everything is back on. Our starter is good to go in there. Alright guys, so let's start the car one more time and see what happens. So I'm gonna go ahead and push the start button here. And you heard that, guys, it started up really good. So it looks like our problem is fixed. So let's turn it off and start it again, which it would be very hard for it to start again while it was warm. And as you can see, guys, it starts up right away with no issues. Alright, so it looks like I pretty much fixed all the problems on this car that it had before, because it did have this problem where it had a hard time to start when it was hot. So alright guys, so that'll be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and it would be useful to a bunch of people. As you can see, my circumstances weren't that easy to work on the car, but as you can see, it's possible. So if you're just on a driveway, you can definitely do it. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. And if you know anybody that has a G37, 35 of this newer body and they got their starter here on the left side, then share this video with them. And also, guys, if you need a starter, go check out this TYC starter. I'll leave some links in the description. I got this from Amazon. I got it overnighted right at $100 with the overnight. So definitely worth it. Seems like it seems to be exactly the same thing, and it's starting really good. Also guys, go check out a bunch of Infiniti videos I got on this channel, and as always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.